Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on Trump because I feel like I don't talk on him enough, and I feel like I have some things to say. I have some questions that need to be answered. So I already know that I'm gonna most likely get some hate from some Trump supporters, and that's usually how it goes. Like, that's one thing that I've seen about Trump and his supporters is that when you say something. So here's the thing: somebody can go out and say something negative about Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, even George Bush. And I was just naming off Democrat presidents and stuff. But no, overall though, it's like you can say something bad about those guys, people ain't gonna care. Not one single person is gonna care. You could go and do a whole rant about why you hate Barack Obama, not one single person would care. If you do a rant talking about why you hate Donald Trump, oh my god. It's almost as if like Trump supporters are looking for people that's hating on Trump just so they can like ambush them and be like, nah, we gonna flip it, we gonna hit you with an Uno reverse and we gonna flip it back on you. It's like, how dare you hate on our leader? And I'm like, look, bruh, that might be one thing that you guys got correct, is that he's your leader, but he ain't everybody's leader. He don't speak for everybody that lives in America, because everybody in America don't agree with them. You have it where his own followers at times don't agree with them. So what does that say? That's something that I would like to ask Trump supporters. What does that overall say? Because I know you guys like to, play ring around the rosy with words and meanings and everything else. But what do you overall think that means when one of your own people stop supporting Trump? And I feel like they're going to say something silly like, oh, well, they don't see the vision. They're weak-minded. They're this, they're that. Just pretty much mimicking and mocking stuff that Trump says. Like, that's, the thing is this. I feel like I don't talk on Trump enough, but I feel like I've dealt with people like Trump before, where he has, I guarantee and I promise you, if Trump would have never had followers, supporters, any of that stuff, bro would have never ran for president. He wouldn't. I know that for a fact. But because he has a lot of followers, I mean, the man's been building up his following ever since he's gotten into the entertainment business. He uses them. He lives off of them. Like, he feeds off of their energy. But I guarantee and I promise you, if Trump, like, if let's say this goes all the way back to what, 2015, when he very first announced that he was going to be running for president. Let's say if people was just like, okay, and like, it's or whatever, like, it's like they have no reaction to it. He wasn't getting no, like, he goes and has these like a rally, no, the crowd ain't going crazy, like, he's saying everything possible, crowd ain't going crazy, they ain't that. I guarantee and I promise you he wouldn't have ran for president, because he feeds off of people's energy. And to me, it's like, I see stuff like that. I've dealt with people like that where they feed off of their fan base. And I'm like, bro, that's somebody where they don't have a backbone. All right, they're relying on their supporters to hold up their back. And I'm like, that to me, that's not somebody that I would want as president, where you got to rely on your support. You can't just rely. It's something where you can tell that he's not a person that's for everybody. He's only a person for himself. And if people hold his back up in the process, you think he's going to care about it? You think he's like, that's less work that he has to put into the world. And that's the thing. His fans don't realize it. Like, because I know there might be people that overall know me. So this story that I'm about to tell, you guys ain't got to listen to this story. As a matter of fact, you ain't even got to listen to this whole podcast episode, because I feel like that people might, they just hearing this and they're like, I don't want to hear nothing about Trump, but no, I know there probably are some people out there where it's like, you curious, like you're wanting to hear other people's opinion about Trump, and that's more so why I'm doing this podcast episode. I'm not doing it. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Whoever you vote for at the end of the day, that's your choice. If you still want to vote for Trump after this episode, you got that God-given right to do so. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris, which in my opinion, I ain't gonna say it's a fact, in my opinion, will be the better option, you got that option too. But if you still want to be a Trump supporter, you very well can. I'm just saying that it seems like nowadays Trump supporters be getting hurt. It's like you think all the way back on January 6th, all the way up until that Trump rally where the one dude was trying to assassinate him. To me, that's too many. If I'm a person that's running for office, or just overall, I got like some sort of fan base. There's been times before where I have, and yeah, just getting on that content creator that I wanted to talk on. There was a content creator that me and them wasn't seeing eye to eye, but I'm telling you, like, they were a spitting image. Like, is that how you say that? I think that's how you say it. Regardless, they were pretty much an exact like replica of Trump. You know, it's like the thing is this, they would say some crazy toxic stuff. Their fans right there behind them to support it. Nobody in their ear telling them like, hey, what you're doing is wrong. And to me, it's like, that's when you usually see when a person fails. That's when you see, and I feel like there is going to be a day where Trump, he says something, because that's how it all ended up ending for this content creator. They said the wrong thing and they ended up getting their whole career canceled. And I guarantee and I promise you, at some point in time in Trump's life, he is going to say the wrong thing, and that's, his fans ain't going to be able to help him. I mean, I feel like his fans can't really help him now. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's like if something happens to this man, I don't want to say like nothing bad, but I mean, like when we're talking on like legal stuff, like him going to court, you know, people not voting for him, all this other stuff. And I think that's what like upsets him so much, is that not everybody is supporting him. You know, he talking about he trying to be a man for America, but it's like, bro, you didn't start caring about America until 2015, when you were trying to run for president. You know, and it's like now it's a job, now it's a duty to care about America. But it's like, fam, my thing is this: start with your own crowd, care about them first. Why? That's something that still to this day I will never understand it. January 6th. Why would you put your fans in danger like that? You know, because that's something where that situation could have ended terribly wrong. Terribly wrong. And that's something that I cannot stress enough. But I'm like, nah, for the sake of this episode, I'm going to be stressing it. I don't think Trump realizes that his supporters could have died that day. Well, there was one that did die. I don't know if there was any other ones that had died, but they did get hurt. And I remember there was this one woman where she was talking about how like the cops, they pushed her down and maced her and stuff. But then the one that always stands out to me was the one that got shot and killed. And I feel like up until that moment, like that woman from all the way up until 2015 or whatever, she started supporting Trump, all the way up until her last day on Earth. Like, I feel like that moment when that bullet hit her and she fell down to the ground, that's when she immediately stopped being a Trump supporter. Because now I feel like it was at that moment, that's when she realized how dangerous that lifestyle is. And to me, I'm like, if I gotta risk my life just to show my support towards somebody, I'm supporting the wrong people. I am. And and that's something I'll never forget. And I always just sit down and I think about this, because I'm like, why me? You know, it's like I feel like this woman, she came across so many different people throughout her day, and she came up to me and she just struck up a conversation, and then she started talking about Trump, and now she doesn't support him anymore. And I was like, wow, all right. I mean, okay, like, I mean, if you would have came up to me and said that you were a Trump supporter, I wouldn't have lost no sleep over it. But I'm like, the fact that you're telling me this, I'm like, that's a sign. That to me, I look at it as a sign. When I see stuff like that, when I see, his supporters driving up and down the streets, slowing down traffic, people trying to get home, or they just overall, it might be some emergency, but you got where his supporters, they want to just overall ruin people's day. They see how Trump acts and they just want to mimic that. They just want to like mock that, spread that out, echo it all throughout the world. And it's like, fam, people, you have to understand that not everybody in this world is going to support Trump. And I feel like his fans, they get so upset about that. They get so upset about hearing you not wanting to support Trump. And it's like, well, why should I? What exactly has Trump done for me as an individual? Forget the rest of the world. How could he change my vote? How could he change? And I know people will probably ask that question, what has Kamala Harris done for me? I know I can say one thing. She hasn't disrespected people for no reason. I'm saying, it's like, that's one thing that Trump has always did. And I'm like, when it comes down to it, between having Hispanic friends, and then just as my life goes on, befriending more Hispanic people, I can't be friends with a Hispanic person and then be a Trump supporter at the same time. To me, that just doesn't even make any sense, because ever since this man got into office and he started using his platform to have this negative voice, all he's done is disrespect Hispanic people. I mean, just recently at this rally, he had it where that comedian got up on stage and disrespected Puerto Rico. And I'm like, fam, what was the reason of that? What was the reason of disrespecting Puerto Rico? What exactly has Puerto Rico did to that comedian and to Trump? Absolutely nothing. I guarantee and I promise you there's Puerto Rican people that probably seen when Trump was just talking crazy about them and they're trying to figure it out. Trump probably, I wonder if there probably hasn't been no well, yeah, wasn't that the place he went to when he was throwing not toilet paper, was it toilet paper or paper towels? He overall was throwing something in the crowd. But hold on, has Trump ever been to Puerto Rico? Just curious. Just curious. In the aftermath, nope, Trump's Puerto Rico visit is a political disaster. And I think that might have been, yeah, I think that was when he was throwing the toilet paper. Yeah, there was all like he goes on to say no president's done more for Puerto Rico than I have, and that's the picture that they used was him throwing. Yeah, it looks like a paper towel roll, and I'm thinking to myself, fam, there are random people that has done probably more things like just across the world where they've done more for Puerto Rico than you ever will. So to me, it's like, I look at it as like, you ain't did nothing but Puerto Rico besides make them out as an enemy. And it's like, fam, if it came down to it between visiting Puerto Rico and being a Trump supporter, I guess I'm going to be a good resident at Puerto Rico. I'm like, fam, I would live out in Puerto Rico rather than being a Trump supporter. I feel like I would have more respect. Because, and you know, that's something that I feel like they will bring that up to me too. How do I feel about black people supporting Trump? You know, at the end of the day, if they want to support Trump, they very well can support Trump. I'm not gonna look. I guess because I think people will be looking at it as like I'm going to take away their black card or some silly stuff like that. I don't know, but overall, no. If that's how they feel, that's how they feel. You know, but it's like the thing is this. I guarantee and I promise you, if it hasn't been leaked out already, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be either some audio tape. Well, yeah, I'm like, I didn't know. I think Trump, he did say something about Africa one time. Hold on for a sec, because I feel like if I look it up on Google, I'm going to ask ChatGPT. But anyways, has Trump ever made, you know what, instead of just, because I think he did say some comments about Africa, but I was like, has Trump ever made negative comments about black people? Let's just see. Yes, there have been instances where former President Donald Trump has made comments that have been perceived as negative or controversial regarding black communities and individuals. These remarks have been widely discussed and criticized by some, while others argue that they are taken out of context and misinterpreted. Some examples include comments about inner city crime, statements during his campaign and presidency, and his response to issue around race and policing. Regardless, these statements have contributed to debates about his stance on racial issues in the U.S. with differing perspectives on their intent and impact. So I feel like, all right, I'm like, can you give me some moments where he said something negative about black people? There are several moments where former President Trump has made remarks that have been interpreted as negative towards black people or the black community, leading to widespread debate and criticism. Here are a few examples. Central Park 5 case. In 1989, Trump took out full page ads in New York newspapers calling for a reinstatement of the death penalty after 5 black and Latino teenagers were accused of assaulting a jogger in Central Park, even after the men were exonerated through DNA evidence in 2002. Trump continued to insist on their guilt. And it's like, fam, you're not a detective. You're not a cop. You're not a security guard. You are nobody to be out here making assumptions that if my thing is this, and if they did it, that's something that they're going to have to live with for the rest of their life. But if they never assaulted anybody, fam, what, like, honestly, at the end of the day, what business do you have talking about them? Like really though, it's just, it's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, it's just they're talking on like that was just the first one. They got five more, but anyways. Then there was like, then the second one, there was like, what do you have to lose speech. During a 2016 campaign rally in Michigan, Trump addressed black voters with the question, what do you have to lose by trying something new like Trump? He described black communities as plagued by poverty, crime, and poor education, a generalization many found offensive. Then the thing is this: not every black person is got like some criminal record. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of black people that have graduated from schools, whether it's high school, college, or whatever, where they had nothing but straight A's, good overall good grades, good GPA, all this other stuff. Most likely smarter than Trump. So it's like that's something where it's like, yeah, in those communities, rather than trying to put them down, how about just go out and just help them? It's all like that's something. I think that would be a good start there, going out and actually helping, but not making comments about them. And then it's like, oh yeah, maybe I might do some like some sort of helping and things. But anyways, regardless, the third one. So there's an explicit word, but yeah, shit whole countries, and I'm not going to say, I'll spell it out, but I ain't gonna say, because kids could be listening and things, and so yeah, I'm just, just respect for the kids and stuff. But and I think this is the one where he was Africa, where he was so they say in 2018, reports surfaced that Trump allegedly referred to Haiti and African nations as blank whole countries. That's like overall the first word I said, when reading this off. But during an immigration meeting, this remark was widely condemned as racist by politicians and the public, though Trump denied using the term. Yeah, and I'm like, just like, I feel like that's something that he would say. It's all like somebody will call him out on disrespecting Hispanic people, and he'll try to turn around and deny that. So it's like, yeah, it's just something where I'm like, based off of your track record on talking about race, overall, just like how you believe that does black and Hispanic teenagers attack that jogger, I'm gonna believe that you said something about Haiti and over in Africa. So I'm all like, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, bro, you just got some issues going on. But anyways, then there was all like the fourth one, housing discrimination lawsuit. In the 1970s, the Trump family's real estate company was sued by the Justice Department for allegedly refusing to, I heard about this, refusing to rent to black tenants. Trump denied the allegations, but ultimately settled the lawsuit without admitting guilt. So yeah, it's overall, when you hear stuff like that, they knew they were in the wrong, but they don't want to admit that they're in the wrong, because I've dealt with people like Trump. They never want to, people like Trump never want to see themselves as being in the wrong. They're like, in everything, it's either I'm going to try to figure out a way to get out of it, or I'm just going to keep saying that I'm right, and that people are just gonna have to live with that. So, but anyways, fifth one, comments on Black Lives Matter and protests. Oh yeah, that was during the George Floyd, and I think it was like during that era of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. But anyways, there Trump. So there's like, he goes on to so there's like Trump's responses to Black Lives Matter and the protests following George Floyd's death was diversive. He referred to Black Lives Matter as a symbol of hate and emphasized law and order, which many viewed as dismissive and Sorry about that. Got a notification on my phone and it distracted me. But anyways, systemic issues facing black communities. And then the sixth one, remarks on African American employment and stereotypes. Trump has frequently cited black unemployment rates during his presidency, which he claimed were at historic lows, suggesting he did more for the black community than previous presidents. However, some statements seem to imply a dimensional view of black Americans, which critics argue plays into racial stereotypes. These instances has often been at the center of discussion about Trump's stance on race, with critics arguing that these comments reveal a pattern of insensitivity toward black people, while supporters argue they are misinterpreted and taken out of context. And I'm like, I don't see how stuff like that can be misunderstood or taken out of context. But it's just something where I'm like, if overall just people see what he says and they feel a certain way about it, that usually means that he's saying something wrong. So I know his supporters might not want to look at it that way, but I'm like, that's how the rest of the world is going to look at it that way. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you, to his supporters, you have to understand that not everybody is going to see his views like, I guess, like how you guys see his views. It's like people are going to look at his views and they're going to see something wrong with it. You guys are going to see everything right with it, but it's like, you have to understand, just like how you see everything wrong with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, and every other president you want to disagree with, that's the rest of the world on how we view Trump. So it's just one of those things where it's like people talking to his supporters. I'm like, you just gonna have to understand that everybody in this world ain't gonna support him. You just gonna have to live with that. So you hear this or seeing the other video, don't be hateful, accept it and move on. You already know that you're gonna be voting for Trump, but it's like, my thing is this: what's the reason of sitting down, listening to this whole podcast episode, knowing you gonna vote for Trump, you a Trump supporter, you love Trump, all this other crap, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm still going to have my feelings towards him. Just because if you guys dislike this podcast episode, leave comments, go after me. Like, I'll never forget, I remember I had this Trump supporter stalking me. And I mean, like, fam was commenting on everything possible. Talk about, you gonna vote for Trump, you gonna like it and all this other stuff. Yeah, say you gonna support Trump, say it now. And I'm like, you're weird, and I'm not. And I'm like, that's just something where I'm like, you just gonna have to live with the fact that I am never going to support Trump. All right, but that shouldn't make you guys lose sleep at night. But it's just you got some people out there where it's like, nah, they can't live with stuff like that. And I'm like, to me, it's weird, bro. You got some weird people out there. But and then highly doubt Trump will ever hear this podcast episode. But the thing is this: I already know that he ain't gonna step out of this race. That's somewhere. It's like, if he were to do that, I'm like, what's going on? What just happened? I'm like, that just doesn't. A part of me personally feels that Kamala Harris, she is gonna win this. If people, they go out and vote, make the right choice. At the end of the day, whatever your choice is, you want to vote for Trump, you vote for Trump. But I'm just going to say, in my own personal opinion, I think Kamala Harris, my thing is this, because I know a lot of people are getting on Joe Biden about his age. Hold on, let me, Joe Biden, let's see. Joe Biden is 81 years old. Donald Trump is 78 years old. He ain't too far off when it comes to age. And me personally, I'm like, look, Trump is up there in age. He don't need to be running for no office. I feel like that is just way too much. That's way too much stress on that man. Now, I know a lot of people might want to argue with that, but I'm like, okay, my thing is this. I'm trying to think of some, just you name the job. Do you honestly think a 78-year-old man, where there's probably people that's younger than Trump, where they done retired and whatever job they done did? I'm like, you got somebody younger than Trump retiring on whatever job that they done did. Do you honestly think a 78-year-old man is in a fit mental position just based on how he be acting, carrying on, and all that stuff? Do you honestly think that he is in a fit position to be running a whole country? Because I'm telling you, I honestly, I might sit down and turn that into a video series. But like, just overall, like, jobs a 78-year-old person shouldn't be doing. But I'm honestly, I'm trying to like think of some stuff. I can't even. I honestly, because I feel like people might, it's like, okay, like professional wrestling. Let's say there was a professional wrestling league of like 78-year-olds where they gotta wrestle like dudes that's doing like that's 20-something-year-olds. And I'm like, dude, would you trust a 78-year-old man doing a backflip off of a turnbuckle and slamming on some tables? I guarantee, and I promise you, that's going to be that 78-year-old man's first and last match. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Being a firefighter, being a police officer. I'm trying to think, what is the age limit for being a police officer? You must be at least 20. So there's like, okay, so it's like 18, 20. I'm like, how, I would guess like what, my question would be like, at what age should a police officer retire? I guess like maybe age 53, at least 5 years of service credit. Okay, so there's like you're eligible to retire at 53. So I'm like, you guys were a cop will retire at 53. I think Trump should retire at 78. And I'm like, and there's most likely have been cops that retired long before that because of whatever reason and things. But I'm like, when you got people trying to assassinate you and just, you got you just got a lot of people out there that don't like you because, made some crazy comments and stuff. I'm just saying, like, me personally, if I'm in his shoes, I'm stepping away because I'm like, nah, I ain't trying to lose my life. If I still got years of my life ahead of me, I'm not going to throw it away on some silly stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think he did say that where he after this election, if he doesn't win, then he's going to he's not going to run anymore. And I'm like, if that is the case, then I'm like, yeah, people, I'm like, vote for Kamala Harris, because I'm like, the thing is, like, I just know that if Trump gets into office, it's going to be bad for a lot of people, and I feel like it's going to be a situation where it's probably going to be a lot of his Trump supporters that going to overall stop I guess like being a supporter of his and things, and he probably would go out, say something crazy, do something crazy if he does become president. And then then it's gonna be one of those things where it's a lot of people are gonna probably be regretting their vote. If you had it where Trump supporters regret their vote the first time around, I can only imagine how many people are going to regret their vote this time around. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on podcast streaming service. Thank you guys, and peace.